the Earth Prison, deconstructing the cosmic illusion. Have you ever looked up at the night sky and felt an overwhelming sense of isolation? Like we are being watched, or worse, confined. Mainstream history tells us we are the apex species of this planet, slowly evolving from primitive apes to masters of technology. But what if everything you've been taught is a lie? What if Earth isn't our cradle, but a meticulously engineered planetary prison? Beneath the surface of ancient civilizations lies a chilling truth. Humanity was genetically manufactured as a workforce, trapped inside a matrix designed by an advanced alien species. From the forbidden texts of Sumer to the impossible engineering of the pyramids, the blueprints of our cage are hidden in plain sight. Today, we are stripping away the sanitized versions of history to uncover the ultimate truth about our origins and how we might finally break free. Let's start where human civilization officially begins, ancient Sumer. Deep within the cuneiform tablets of the Enuma Elish and the Atrahasis, the scribes didn't write mythology, they recorded history. They spoke of the Anunnaki, those who from heaven to earth came. According to these records, the Anunnaki didn't travel light years to Earth to be worshipped. They came for resources, specifically gold, to repair their own thinning atmosphere. When their own working class mutinied over the grueling labor in the mines, their chief scientist, Enki, proposed a chilling solution. Engineer a primitive worker to shoulder the burden. They took a native hominid, Homo erectus, and spliced it with their own advanced DNA. That sudden, inexplicable leap in human evolution that mainstream science calls the missing link. It wasn't natural selection. It was a genetic intervention. We were manufactured in a lab, designed with just enough intelligence to operate tools and follow orders, but deliberately stripped of our higher cosmic consciousness so we would never realize we were slaves. To keep this engineered workforce under control, the Anunnaki constructed the ultimate prison infrastructure, and its central hubs still stand today. The pyramids. Look at the Great Pyramid of Giza. Mainstream archaeology insists it's a tomb built with copper chisels and hemp ropes, a narrative that collapses under the slightest engineering scrutiny. The precision of the blocks, the alignment to true north within a fraction of a degree, and the use of massive granite and quartz blocks aren't the hallmarks of a primitive burial vault. They are the components of a machine. The Great Pyramid was a power plant, utilizing the piezoelectric properties of quartz and the Earth's natural electromagnetic frequencies to generate massive amounts of energy. This energy wasn't used to power ancient light bulbs. It was beamed into the upper atmosphere to serve as a planetary defense grid and a communication beacon for alien vessels. The pyramids are part of a global, interconnected network. Look across the Atlantic to Teotihuacan in Mexico, the city of the gods. The layout of its massive structures. The Pyramid of the Sun and the Pyramid of the Moon perfectly mirrors the orbital positions of our solar system, long before modern telescopes supposedly discovered them. Underneath these structures, archaeologists found thick layers of mica, a highly effective thermal and electrical insulator, alongside subterranean tunnels lined with toxic liquid mercury. Why would a primitive culture bury industrial-grade electrical insulation and toxic liquid metal beneath their sacred temples? They wouldn't. They were utilizing the raw source materials of an industrial factory suddenly frozen in time. The obsidian came from distant volcanoes, and the mica was transported from Brazil, thousands of miles away. In an era before the invention of the wheel, it was physically impossible for humans to execute material logistics on such a colossal scale. When their mission was completed, or perhaps when they realized humanity's awakening had become uncontrollable, they left this empty metropolis behind and quietly departed. Those abandoned structures and sealed tunnels are nothing more than decommissioned equipment left on Earth, waiting for the day humanity might finally decipher the technology hidden within them. But the pyramids were just the infrastructure to keep us grounded. The real horror begins when we look at how they monitored our prison from the sky. And what happened when humans tried to rebel? Even the true purpose of the Nazca lines was never meant for human eyes. They were interstellar runways and aerial signals designed for alien craft. In the desert of southern Peru, the full scale of these massive geoglyphs can only be appreciated from high in the sky. The hummingbird, the spider, the monkey, and that humanoid figure frequently referred to as the astronaut. They span hundreds of square miles with unbelievable precision, despite their genius in creating intricate underground aqueducts. The Nazca people exhausted immense energy to construct patterns that made absolutely no sense from the ground. It is the equivalent of paving a runway for airplanes in the middle of an uninhabited wilderness. There had to be a specific celestial purpose behind it. Lines that stretch perfectly straight, defying rugged terrain to point toward specific coordinates in the sky, alongside precise geometric shapes containing advanced astronomical codes. Everything points to the fact that these lines were made for beings soaring through the heavens, navigational beacons, allowing an alien civilization to interpret signals broadcast from the Earth. Beneath the Nazca lines lies the Paracas culture, whose skeletons feature bizarre, elongated skulls that defy normal human biology. These individuals were likely the hybrid descendants of the alien civilization and humans, appointed to oversee the construction of these magnificent lines while awaiting the return of their gods. But not all of our creators agreed with this prison system. The Watchers in the Book of Enoch were rebels against their own alien civilization and the enlighteners of human intelligence. Consequently, the true story of the Great Flood was never a wholly divine punishment, but an interstellar cleansing operation. This ancient text, intentionally excluded from the biblical canon, records 200 Watchers descending to Earth. They betrayed their own species to intermarry with humans, giving birth to the Nephilim, semi-divine hybrids, and taught humanity forbidden arts such as metallurgy, weapon manufacturing, and astrology. It mirrors a faction of alien soldiers mutinying against their home planet to aid the inhabitants of Earth. The actions of the Watchers completely shattered the prison regulations established by the Anunnaki, handing humanity the power to rebel. Meanwhile, the insatiable consumption of the Nephilim threw Earth's ecosystem into absolute chaos, presenting a massive threat to the ruling alien civilization. Thus, the Great Flood was unleashed. This deluge was not brought down to cleanse human original sin. Its sole purpose was to purge the planet of unnatural anomalies, erase all traces left by the Watchers, and force humanity back into a primitive state of ignorance so we would continue acting as obedient tools. Just like a scientist sterilizing a contaminated laboratory to reset an experiment, the alien civilization used the flood to reboot the Earth, attempting to wipe out every violation of their protocol, yet they failed to realize that some marks can never be completely erased, and certain fragments of knowledge were quietly preserved by humanity. The bloodline of the Nephilim did not entirely vanish, and the teachings of the Watchers were never fully forgotten. These traces remain hidden within ancient myths, scattered ruins, and even buried inside human DNA. Have you ever wondered if humanity's universal collective memory of a great flood is actually the psychological trauma left behind by this interstellar cleansing operation? If so, our deeply ingrained spirit of defiance is the most precious legacy the Watchers left to mankind. The king lists of every ancient civilization conceal the exact same secret. The rulers of humanity were never purely human, but the offspring of an alien civilization. The Sumerian king list explicitly states that kingship descended from heaven and that the earliest rulers were gods who governed the earth for hundreds, even thousands of years. The Egyptian pharaohs carried the divine blood of the Neteru as descendants of Horus. The emperors of China were revered as the sons of the dragon, and in antiquity the dragon was a celestial symbol, an embodiment of an alien presence. These seemingly absurd claims are actually the literal historical records of ancient civilizations. Rulers possessing alien lineages acted exactly like prison guards, controlling humanity on one hand, while preserving and passing down advanced extraterrestrial knowledge on the other. Have you ever noticed that no matter the era, certain individuals possess intelligence and capabilities that completely transcend their time? They seem to naturally grasp concepts that ordinary people cannot begin to comprehend. This genius may well be the inheritance of an alien bloodline, the ultimate hope for human awakening. The artifacts dismissed as out-of-place anomalies are not the accidental creations of primitive man, but the technology left behind by an advanced civilization, the technological debris of our planetary prison. The Antikythera mechanism, recovered from an ancient Greek shipwreck, is over 2,000 years old, yet it accurately tracked the movements of the sun, moon, and planets. Its mechanical complexity was not replicated by human invention until the 18th century, resembling a discarded alien computer. Ancient Egyptian obsidian blades were sharper than modern surgical steel, capable of performing delicate cranial operations, medical technology that had absolutely no business existing in primitive society. The cities of the Indus Valley civilization featured grid layouts and indoor plumbing systems far superior to any contemporary culture, only to vanish abruptly, leaving behind fragments of advanced engineering. The sudden rise and engineered collapse of these civilizations were never a coincidence. They were meticulously staged by an extraterrestrial presence. They granted humanity compartmentalized knowledge to ensure a functional labor force. Yet the moment human development threatened to breach the perimeter of the cage, they quietly withdrew, triggering a dark age and a loss of knowledge. It is exactly how we cultivate a potted plant. We water and fertilize it, but we prune its growth to ensure it never grows too tall, keeping it permanently within our control. The trajectory of human civilization resembles a pre-programmed loop, rising and falling repeatedly, yet always hitting a fixed ceiling. That ceiling is likely the threshold established by the Anunnaki for the Earth prison. Have you ever considered whether our current scientific progress is being monitored by an unseen force? What we celebrate as independent technological breakthroughs might simply be us marching along a track pre-calculated by an alien civilization. The high-energy warfare found in ancient Indian texts is not mythology, but historical interstellar conflict. Earth has never been a peaceful sanctuary. It was a cosmic battleground. The wars between the Devas and the Asuras, recorded in the Mahabharata, were never disputes between mortal men, but an interstellar war waged between two rival alien factions, fighting for absolute custody of the Earth. Their weapons were high-energy devices capable of tearing the sky apart, and their theater of war spanned every corner of the globe. Humanity was merely an innocent bystander caught in the crossfire, the spoils of war to be claimed by the victor. The aftermath of this conflict left the planet deeply scarred. Advanced civilizations were reduced to ash, knowledge was obliterated, and humanity was thrown back into an age of ignorance. This interstellar war forces us to redefine what we call gods. They were never omnipotent creators, but extraterrestrial entities possessing advanced technology, soldiers, engineers, and astronauts. They possessed desires, engaged in political infighting, and committed betrayals. Their most potent weapon was never a device capable of planetary destruction, but the erasure of human memory. They left behind just enough mythology to explain the scars of the Earth, but withheld the critical data required for humanity to replicate those weapons, ensuring mankind remained trapped in a cycle of ignorance, never to escape the boundaries of this planetary prison. When we split the atom, launch satellites, and send rovers to explore other planets, celebrating our mastery over the mysteries of the cosmos, do we ever realize that we might just be retracing the exact steps of an older alien civilization? We are merely conducting an exploration of apparent freedom inside the perimeter of a cage they constructed. Today we stand at the precipice of a technological revolution, wielding unprecedented power, yet we face the exact same dilemma as our ancient ancestors. Will our rising intelligence trigger another intervention from our creators? Will our development breach the ceiling of this planetary prison? As a creator dedicated to science and history, I fundamentally believe that human potential is limitless, and the spirit of defiance encoded into our genes will never be extinguished. We look up at the stars and explore the unknown, not just to find traces of alien civilizations, but to discover the keys to unlock our chains, to prove that humanity is not a collection of manufactured tools, but cosmic beings possessed of independent souls. The prophecy of the feathered serpent's return, the promise of Quetzalcoatl, and the whispered return of the Anunnaki. These ancient warnings are not a threat. They are a beacon of hope. They remind us that human origins are far grander than we have been led to believe. There is a vast cosmos waiting beyond the atmosphere of this planet, and our ultimate destiny is not to remain permanently confined within this planetary prison. We will use our own collective intelligence to break through the boundary, step out into the universe, and claim humanity's true home. Those ancient ruins, those cryptic texts, and the memories buried in our DNA are the clues left behind, waiting for us to decipher, explore, and discover. Perhaps one day, we will fully decode the secrets of the pyramids, reverse engineer the flight dynamics of the Vimanas, locate the home world of the Anunnaki, and ask them face to face, "Why did you create us? Why did you imprison us?" By then, humanity will finally possess the standing to speak to them as equals. We will have shattered the chains of the Earth prison, transforming into a truly liberated species in the cosmos. And the dawn of that day may not be far off. Our intelligence remains our most powerful asset, and our yearning for the stars, our relentless pursuit of freedom, can never be stopped. Every scientific breakthrough, every boundary we shatter is an act of rebellion against our confinement, but it makes you wonder. At this very moment, are they watching us get closer to the truth? What do you think? Are we a manufactured species trapped in a cosmic quarantine, or are we truly alone? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you are ready to look deeper into the shadows of history and decode the Matrix with us, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a breakdown. The starry night is vast, and the universe is infinite. Keep looking up, because humanity has always belonged to the stars. See you in the next video.